Hi, this is Dave with DK Cattle Company. Today I want to make a quick video talking about the pros and cons of horned versus polled cattle, or horned versus cattle that don't have horns. A lot of breeds, Dexter's included, you can kind of breed in any direction. You can get horned cattle or you can get them without horns. Dehorning is an option for a calf for every breed that has horns. So let's kind of talk about the pros and cons of them. I have, let's see, 3 pairs of horns in my herd. Gertie is one of my favorite cows. She has horns. Are they dangerous? Absolutely, 1000%. They're dangerous not because the cows with horns are mean. It's the opposite, is that the cows that have horns, they kind of forget that they have them sometimes. So when they like rub on you and stuff like that, sometimes they can accidentally kind of get you with them. So they can be dangerous. I have never gotten hurt from any of my cows with horns. Gertie and Ellie are my friendliest cows with horns. Ellie particularly, that brown cow you see in a lot of my videos, she rubs on me sometimes and rubs me kind of hard with her horns. And I'll just grab her horns and kind of push her off me, and she'll kind of get the gist of what I'm trying to tell her. But I've never gotten a bruise or a scratch or anything from them. But I can see how some people get in those situations. I have seen pictures of people getting hurt by horned animals in their herds. Where horns can be really good though is if you live in a very high predator area, particularly in the east where I'm at. I'm in Northeast Ohio. If we were to have a lot of coyotes with this small breed of cows, you know, being Dexter's, they're kind of little. If we had a lot of coyotes, it would be nice to have at least a few horns, like let's say 2 cows with horns for every 10 or so animals, just to kind of protect the herd. But then that's the flip side, is you kind of have to have a specific kind of cow to have horns. Gertie is a confident cow, which is rare. Cows are herd animals. They like to they're scaredy cats for the most part. They kind of like to stay in their bunch. And a lot of cows are pretty timid by nature, and then they get more comfortable with you and they're friendly, but they're still, you know, timid. Gertie and Mabel is the red polled cow you see next to me a lot. But Gertie is one of my most confident cows, and I know if anything came in here that wasn't supposed to be in here, Mabel and her would get rid of that problem fairly quickly. So that's where horns could be really good. Another thing is genetic diversity. With Dexter's and really any other cattle breed, you can get a sire, a bull, that is homozygous polled, meaning that every calf that bull is going to produce from the cows will not have horns. So if you're wanting to go in a no horn direction, but maybe you find a cow that has really, really good genetics but is horned, you can breed that cow. You can breed that cow with your homozygous polled bull, and you'll still have a polled calf, a calf with no horns, but you're breeding in that genetic diversity into your herd. So that's a really good place for horns. I think every cow breed that has potential for horns, I think you should have at least one with horns, just because it is a fun experience. Some people, the more traditional configuration of a lot of breeds is with horns. So if a cow breeder wants to stick with more traditional breeding guidelines, breed with horns by all means. And a lot of people do, especially in the Dexter community, breed black horned cattle because that is the more traditional configuration of Dexter's. So horns definitely have their place. I like horns. I'm not against them. I have a homozygous polled bull to breed away from horns, but I'm definitely not so anti-horn that I would ever dehorn animals. I just think it's kind of an unnecessary procedure because there's really no good way to do it. You either have to burn where the horns are coming up at. You either have to burn them, chemically burn them, or let them grow out enough and cut them. And I just don't think that's necessary. All the girls that I have that have horns, I got them young enough that I could have done any of those processes, and I opted not to. The ones that have horns, and the ones that don't, and we're gonna breed them to a bull that's gonna make sure that we have polled calves, but we're definitely not against our horns, and we like our horns. You just have to be a little more cognizant of their heads when you're around them. I also don't believe in tipping horns. Tipping horns is where you cut the tips of the horns to create a sensitive area on the cow's head, so they're more cognizant of what they're doing with their horns. I think that's kind of mean. I mean, do what you want, obviously, but I don't think I would ever tip any of the horns on the cows. Also, another thing with the horns, come to think of it, because I got Ellie right here, is it does give you a handling point on the cow. If you need to move them or something like that, you can always grab that horn and pull them around. I mean, I don't want to grab one of the pulled ones by the ears, that's mean. But the horn kind of gives you like a handle on the cow, which is nice. So that's kind of like my thoughts on horned versus unhorned cows. I just want to make a quick video. Please like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't. And let me know like what the ratio of your herd is. Do you have, if you have a cow breed that can have horns, do you have, you know, are half of them horned? Are you all polled? What has your experience been with horned cows versus unhorned cows? Lastly, the YouTube channel has been doing very well, in my opinion. I really appreciate your viewership and watching the videos and sharing them with your friends and stuff. The YouTube channel has grown pretty quickly, and I really appreciate your viewership and watching the videos. And yeah, you guys have a good one. Bye. Fun fact about horns I forgot to mention is that, at least with Dexter's, female horns will grow in more of a U, so they'll grow more up like that, like how Gerties are growing. Gerties aren't close to being done growing. And then a steer, a bull's rather, will grow basically straight out, and then a steer's will be somewhere in between. So it's kind of a fun way to be able to sex an animal and to be able to tell how old they are, because obviously Gerties aren't very old. She's not very old. She's about 16 months old. So you can tell her horns aren't grown yet all the way. So if I see her in a field and she's not my cow, and I see her in a field, I know when I look at that cow that it's a young animal based on the horn length. And then we have Ellie right here. Hers aren't fully grown, but they're pretty close. It'll probably grow to about there, like my thumb there. They stop growing about 2.5. So yeah, so that's kind of a fun thing about horns, is you can sex them, and you can kind of tell how old they are by the way their horns are growing and how long they are. So that's another kind of little fun fact about horns.